Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Bob Pompeani here in the Fan Cave at 412-575-2600. You can call, air your opinions by doing that. You can also hit us up on Twitter or X at KDPomp, at The Pony Express. Andrew Fillipponi, better known as Lamar Jackson's best friend, joins us up at 93.7 The Fan a day after.
Bob, it's freezing up here. I got my jacket on. I'm cold.
You should be
it's
down
like the
where
frozen
we are.
tundra in here.
I bet you it's colder at our office than it is here. It's too cold. Anyway, let's talk about the game yesterday, which was cold conditions down in Baltimore. The Steelers, but they came away with a win, and it wasn't like a great defensive performance if you look at the stats, Andrew, but they made plays when they had to make plays, and they got some contributions from a lot of people to take the lead in this division. How secure are you in the feeling that they can actually win this division now that they have control of it?
Yeah, I feel really good about it. You know, strange things have happened. Last year they were up big. They blew it. They lost 5 in a row. But this team, as far as the late run and stretch goes, passed its first test. They went to Baltimore. They were an underdog. Aaron Rodgers came out, bombs away, guns a-blazing. DK Metcalf played his best game in a Steelers uniform. They threw the ball deep downfield. They utilized the middle of the field. Two things that had gone missing in the Steelers offense. So that gives me some confidence. It also gives me confidence that the two teams chasing them are in trouble. The Bengals are 4-9. The best they can do now is 8-9. I don't even know if they'd have the tiebreaker with the Steelers at 8-9. And then the Ravens play the most difficult schedule remaining among AFC teams. They got to go to Cincy. Then they got to play New England in prime time. They got to go to Green Bay. Then they come here in Week 18. And you got a hobbled Lamar Jackson. You got an offensive line with terrible guards. You got wide receivers who drop the ball. You got tight ends who don't hang on to the ball near the goal line. You got a defense that gets absolutely zero pass rush whatsoever. And so I feel like the Steelers, with this cushion now, are in a very good spot to win the division and host their first playoff game since 2020.
I would agree because of what you just said with that schedule. New England and Green Bay in between, and then you have Cincinnati. They just lost to Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh at the end of the year, so that's not going to be easy. And let's take a look at the standings now. This is now heading into Week 15 coming up. The Steelers 7-6 with that division record of 3-1. The Ravens at 6-7. And then you see the Bengals. Bengals still could get to 8-9, and theoretically there's a way for them to do it, but it would take a lot of help. All right, let's take a look at that. Now this has changed pretty radically. Andrew, Denver, New England, Jacksonville. Who would have thought at this point of the season that these three teams would be 1, 2, and 3 seed, and for that matter, Steelers 4 seed. Then you have Buffalo. Chargers are playing tonight and winning against the Eagles, so they would get to 9-4 if they hang on. Houston may be the best team right now in terms of how they're playing. And then you have Phillip Rivers potentially playing for Indianapolis. You have the rest of them. It's crazy how it is. Of these teams that you see, to me, it's like a wide open situation here. Denver, New England, Jacksonville, they're all beatable, as are Buffalo, Pittsburgh. They're all beatable. So what do you think? What is the team that will emerge here from this group of teams?
Well, I think you got two teams in those wild card spots that are, I think, the most dangerous. Buffalo, because of Josh Allen. Their run defense has been putrid the whole year. They don't have great weapons in their passing game, but he is obviously a difference maker. We saw what they did against the Steelers. We saw what they did late in the game against Cincinnati. They gave up 34 points, which is a ton, but you did have those timely turnovers, which is something the Steelers defense has obviously done a very good job of as well. And then Houston. C.J. Stroud gets pressured a lot. When he gets any time, I think he's still a really good quarterback. Nico Collins has come on, and they've got, I think, the best defense in the NFL. They've won a playoff game the last 2 years, both of Stroud's years there. And I think when it's all said and done, they're going to end up winning that division. And that would move them to the AFC South hosting a playoff game. I think Jacksonville still gets in. This Chargers game that's going on right now is very important. If the Chargers win, that gets them to 9 wins. And I think that makes it very, very, very close to impossible for the Chiefs to make the playoffs. If the Chargers lose this game to Philly, their schedule is really tough at the end, and they still got to go to Kansas City. So that would actually, as Tomlin likes to say, leave the light on, I think, for the Chiefs to rally and potentially make the playoffs, Bob.
Chargers are now losing in that game, so we'll see how it goes, and if so, they'll drop to 8-5. So let's go to check this out. It's the Penn West University, KDKA.com/connect poll of the night. It's a simple one. Are the Steelers good enough to win a playoff game? Let us know what you think. It's not just getting in, but winning a playoff game. We'll also talk about what exactly is a catch in the NFL, because I'm totally confused.
Oh, God.
I'm confused every time I see something. We'll get into that, college football playoffs, anything else you want to talk about. Call us at 412-575-2600. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani and Drew Fillipponi with you. Take those calls next right here on KDKA+. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Front Office Sports. It talks about Penn State's new head coach, Matt Campbell, automatically one-year extension each time he makes the college football playoff. And so that is a $8 million a year job, whatever it is. It's a big payday, and if they get in there, that's $1 million more, another year extension, $8 million more. I mean, he could add up a lot of this, but your thoughts about Matt Campbell? I kind of like this guy. The more I research him, the more I see what he's been able to do. He's been a guy who's been on the minds of NFL teams. He's interviewed for jobs. He's keeping Terry Smith around. I think it's a very good hire the more I think about it, Andrew.
Well, I think it's a great job by Penn State, given everything that went on with this coaching search, with all the coaches they got money for and made money off of Penn State's flirtations and job interviews. I think they ultimately got someone that is an upgrade on James Franklin. This guy did an amazing job. Go, take 2 seconds and Google the history of Iowa State football and look at the records of the coaches there. This guy's really the only one with a winning record. It is a very difficult place to win. It was a laughingstock college program for a very long time, for really 50, 60 years. And he turned it around and he made them relevant and competitive and won 11 games 2 years ago. So I think it's an awesome hire, and I'm curious to see what he can do with more talent at a place like Penn State.
Yeah, but the expectations are high, too. There's no question about it. Speaking of the college football playoff, a lot of interesting developments over the weekend in that Notre Dame got left out, Miami got in, Alabama got in. That's one question for you, because I really thought Alabama wouldn't get in, and I thought both Notre Dame and Miami would get in because of the way Alabama lost in their championship game. But also you have James Madison and Tulane, and while I respect what they've done, look at the point spreads to understand that they really don't belong in this field. Are you okay with two of these kinds of teams getting in? JMU is a 21-point underdog to Oregon, and then you have the other one, Tulane, 16.5 to Ole Miss.
Well, I think it makes for a less interesting, less entertaining, less competitive tournament. I told you on the showdown last night, I blame the ACC for that more than I do the playoff committee. The playoff committee put this rule in about the top 5 conference champions, not thinking that there would ever be a day where there were actually 5 conference champions ranked ahead of a Power 4 champion. And it only happened because of the ACC's idiotic, really stupid, dumb tie-breaking procedure that put Duke into that championship game. If that's Miami, I think Miami mops the floor with Virginia. And then you've got Miami in as the automatic bid from the ACC. Notre Dame gets the last at-large bid, and there's no controversy whatsoever. So the ACC ruined this. The Notre Dame commissioner came out today and ripped the ACC to shreds. And then because the ACC has no backbone and is in debt and in bed with Notre Dame, they had to kiss and make up and apologize, which goes to show you who really has the power in college football. It's Notre Dame and not the ACC. But yeah, I mean, it's created, I think, a less than stellar tournament. I have less of an issue with Alabama than you do, Bob, just because I think the SEC is the best league. They finished first in the regular season in that league. Mm-hmm. And I get it. They have a horrendous loss to Florida State. Awful loss to Florida State. They also, I think, beat 5 ranked teams in the SEC. Notre Dame's only good win was against USC. To me, that's not enough. And I think somebody, I don't know who it was on TV, made a good point, Bob. Tell me if you agree with this. If Notre Dame had lost those 2 games to Texas A&M and Miami in the middle of the season or late in the season, do you think we're even having this conversation?
No, I agree with that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think it's, they started 0-2, came all the way back, but sometimes 0-2 starts are, something they should take into consideration. I also am a big believer in head-to-head, and I think that's one of the reasons why Miami got in. In Miami, you're right. They should have gotten in just by virtue of being in that championship game. Instead, they had to play this game with Duke in there, and you knew, I think you even predicted that Duke would win that game because of just the way it was set up. All right, real quick, we have Pitt in East Carolina. East Carolina's getting 6. Penn State, Clemson. Clemson's getting 1. Let's get to the lines. We have a lot of people want to talk. Our number one Cochrane Go One Better caller of the night is Dave on the north side. Hello, Dave.
That was a good call by the referees. You know why? Because he didn't have the ball in his chest. If he would have had the ball on his chest, it would have been a touchdown, Bob. I'd agree with the call.
First of all, I thought Jesse James was a touchdown, and they ruled it incomplete, and I thought that was a touchdown. I go by the eye test, and first of all, who decided 3 steps is enough? Normally, when you get into the end zone, if you make the catch, you take a couple of steps, it's good enough. I think there's a lot of concern. I've watched plays. I went back to the Super Bowl in 2017, watched Zach Ertz hit the ball, hit the ground once he crossed the goal line. To me, didn't complete that one. I also saw Roman Wilson this year in a game against Green Bay, I think it was at home, where he's in the back of the end zone. I'm not sure if that was a catch. They called it a touchdown. There are so many of these plays that come, and some are called touchdowns, some are called incomplete. I thought if you looked at it, Andrew, that was a catch. And I'm not saying this to try to pry Steeler fans into anger, but what would have happened if that were Pat Freiermuth or somebody who had that play, and that's how they lost?
Well, by the letter of the law, it's not a touchdown. It's a really stupid rule, and I don't think the application is always consistent. They looked at it a million different times under replay.
That should tell you enough.
Technically, because the third foot doesn't get down, it's not a touchdown. I don't understand why once you catch the ball in the end zone, though, you have to make a football move. The play should be over. There's no extra yards to get because you're in the end zone.
Right.
So I would think different rules should apply there. They don't. Maybe that gets modified in the offseason, but I think they actually, by the book, made the right call. It just, to the naked eye, didn't look. To the naked eye, if you sat people down in the room and they didn't know the rules and you just said, is that a touchdown or not? I think most people would say yes, right?
Absolutely.
Just from looking at it.
You're right. There's nowhere else to go here. If you're in the back of the end zone, you catch a ball, you don't have to make any move. You caught a touchdown, and that's it. Put it down on the ground. It doesn't matter.
Right. What we'll never know, and I don't know if he answered this, and he probably wouldn't answer it honestly, did Likely do everything in his power to not let Joey Porter knock the ball out, or did he think he already scored a touchdown and didn't care? So when Porter hit it, he's like, whatever. I wonder about that, if he thought the play was already done.
I give Porter a lot of credit, though. He kept going. And
Me too.
You want to make an opportunity available there, and he did. But I just don't like it. To me, that was a catch. I'll always think it was a catch, just as I did Jesse James had a catch. Nancy in Tarentum is joining us right now. Hello, Nancy.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, I think the Steelers are good enough to win a playoff, but why can't we let Rudolph play for a while since Aaron's got a bad hand?
It didn't affect him yesterday, that bad hand with a soft cast. He did a good job. He even made a completion on his own batted ball. I think Rodgers was the key to yesterday altogether. I mean, his competitive spirit was alive and well in that game, to the point where the discount double check came out. When you saw that, you know how engaged he was, and I think he, brought the level of the play on the offense up as well. And I like their game plan, Andrew, yesterday. They went down the field. Maybe they heard a lot of the narratives about no passes over 20 yards for 4 straight games. Whatever it was, that's a good thing to add to their repertoire.
I think if he gets time and gets protection, I think he's still a good quarterback, and I wasn't sure about that after the Jets season he came off of, but I think we saw that in this game. Now, the Ravens' pass rush is pathetic, and so I think that allowed for them to go with these longer developing plays, but the arm was there, the mobility was there. He looked like a spry, more youthful, invigorated Aaron Rodgers, and that's one of the reasons why I do think there's a lot of positivity to take away from this win, because that version of Aaron Rodgers can beat a lot of teams. Now, you got to have more than 34 rushing yards. I can't believe they gave up more than 200 rushing yards, had 34, and won. Yeah. Bob, I've never seen a game like that in my life. 217 to 34, and the Steelers won the game?
Well, there was a game like that, I think, in 2020 where the Steelers were outrushed massively and still somehow won a game. So Yeah, that's hard to do. And obviously that's something that has to change because if it doesn't, sooner or later that's going to happen. And you're right. Baltimore didn't have much of a pass rush. When you play teams like Houston or Denver, the way they're coming after people, boy, it could change a lot of things. And by the way,
Miami is a very good run game. That's going to be tough to slow down Achane.
Is Achane hurt to the point where he can't play, or is he? I don't know.
McDaniel said it was precautionary because the Jets are terrible. I think is pretty much what he said.
That's what he said. They've won 4 in a row, and they've really circled the wagons around him after a lot of people thought he would be the first coaching firing. Are the Steelers good enough to win a playoff game? Right now, 87% of you say yes on our poll. Hit us up at kdka.com/connect. Back with more after this, right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All right, welcome back. Let's get back to the phone lines at 412-575-2600. Andrew, we have Lisa from Butler. Hello, Lisa. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, Bob. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for calling.
Thank you for calling. Thank you for taking my call. So, this last game, yes, we did much better than I thought we were going to. But my main question is this. With the understanding that Pat Freiermuth is a tight end, why is he not being utilized more in the pass game?
Good question. Jonnu Smith, too. They brought him in after 88 catches. Yesterday combined to have 2 of them. That was it, Andrew, and the beat goes on. I'm just not quite sure why that's happening.
Wasn't "And the Beat Goes On" a song?
And the beat goes
Am I making that up?
on, do, 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 and the beat goes on. Yes, it was.
Look, it's one of the big mysteries of the Steelers season. Mike Tomlin came out and said that he really can't play against 4-3 defenses, which I thought was one of the most revealing, honest comments of the entire year. And I don't know how that made Pat Freiermuth feel, but he had a big block on that Kenneth Gainwell touchdown, Bob. So
yeah, he did.
Hopefully they saw that on tape, and it gives him a chance to get out there and do more this upcoming week against Miami.
Before I go real quick, how does Pitt basketball lose a couple of bye games where they have
Quinnipiac
and Hofstra at home and they lose to both?
Horrible. In year 8 of Jeff Capel, this is not working out well. Only 1 NCAA tournament berth.
Yeah. Just in case you're wondering, the buyout's around $5 million. I hope it gets better. I don't want to see that kind of stuff, especially when you're paying a team in here to come and get beaten, and then they end up beating you. Andrew, thanks as always. We'll do it again tomorrow night. Appreciate it.
Bye, Bob.
All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us here on KDKA+ and on most nights 93.7 The Fan. Tune in tomorrow, 10:35. We'll take more of your phone calls. In the meantime, have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow night.